I really don't know you because your work was in iniquity or iniquitous, which means lawless. So there are many persons who are using the name of the Lord, doing what they're doing, but the things that they're doing, Sister Nar, seem good, but they were not authorized. And you were very amazed that the First Corinthians passage, it talks about women should not lead in the congregation when men are present. They should not lead in the congregation. Don't we make the ask when men are present. Okay? So we talked about that, all right? But not only in the judgment, many who expect to be saved will be lost, but in the judgment, more will be lost than saved. More will be lost than saved. One of my favorite thoughts, it is not difficult to be lost. Very easy. All you need to do is follow the crowd. That's all you need to do. Follow the crowd. And that's why in the churches of Christ we always say, do not watch what those other churches, all of them, are doing. Because more will be lost than saved. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. Let me hear that, Sister Joy. All right, now that is very practical in life, because sometimes if we're going to a function, a football game or something, and there is a gate that you have to go through, single file, and then we look down the bottom and see one big gate wide open and people have got in numbers. Basically, our intuition will say, let me go down there, so because it is easier to enter in that gate. So the way to heaven is very narrow. And that is why sometimes people call us, in the churches of Christ, as Sister Norris is learning a lot, they call us too narrow-minded. That is what they tell us. Because many things that other church groups are doing, we don't adopt that because we don't find those things in Scripture. So they tell us that we are too narrow-minded. And I tell them that we are a narrow-minded people because we're on a narrow-minded street. The broad road will carry all the broad and big ideas that people want to do and follow and copy out there in the world. And we see how the churches, they copy the dance hall. There's a guy doing some work for me, and he's a Seventh-day Adventist. And he was saying to me that, we're talking about our worship, and he was saying to me that, and we're dealing with mechanical instruments of music. And he was saying to me that he is a deacon at the church, and sometimes when they are playing the music, he has to step in and say, no, that too much, that sound too much like the dancehall business, And then he says, and say, Pastor, the rhythm, drawn out the words. He said he said most people are listening to the rhythm, and sometimes the rhythm is so loud that the words that you're singing, we don't even hear the words, so that you can be singing the wrong thing, and you don't even know that you're singing the wrong thing, because the rhythm drowning out the word. So, but we in the Church of Christ, yes, we are narrow-minded, because we're on a narrow-minded street. because it says, broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there be that go in through that gate, and narrow is the way that leads to life, and few there be who will find it. So at the judgment, on the judgment day, we're going to see that compared to the amount of people that will be saved, it will be a very small amount when you compare it to the amount of people who will be lost. So if we realize this, then we will not feel out of place when we are in the few, because the few will be saved. So sometimes people might say, a little bit of uno, uno not so enough. Understand? We're more than uno, you know? And we kind of say, Lord, we're not so holy like the rest of them. We're not so holy like the Adventists or those people. Do not watch that. You know, do not watch the crowd, because on the judgment day, only few will be saved. So we need to clearly understand the nature, okay, of the judgment. So one, many who expect to be saved will be lost. That's a fact. And more will be lost than saved. Okay? More will be lost than saved. Alright, so what is the purpose of the judgment? As I said, many people will think that they should be saved. But what is the purpose of the judgment? Let us turn to Matthew chapter 16. Matthew chapter 16 and verse 27. Brother Robbins. Matthew chapter 16 and verse 27.
27. For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works.
So the judgment is to reward every person according to his works. That is why I say that the wicked think that because they may get away in this life and nobody ever find out what they have done, that somehow they would have gotten away. The judgment is to pay them back. To pay them back. Alright? For what they have, you know, police might shoot them down, they might lose their life violently, and so on, because of the way they choose to live. But they will also be rewarded in the life.